Hello again. The Office for National Statistics has released the information gathered during last year's census as it relates to immigration and the various nationalities who now live in this country, and it really does give one a jolt to read it. The information is contained in a document entitled Demography and Migration, Census 2021 in England and Wales, and I give a link to it in the description to this video. Just to be clear, this is not about ethnicity. The Office for National Statistics has no intention just at the moment of revealing how many black people or those of South Asian origin live in Britain. This is so sensitive that they have delayed publication until sometime next year. The present information relates only to the numbers of people living in Britain who were born in other countries or hold other passports. The take-home message is simple and stark. 1 person in 6 living in England and Wales was born abroad. An estimated 10 million people, over 16% of the population in England and Wales, are foreigners. 920,000 of these were born in India, 624,000 from Pakistan, and 539,000 are Romanian. In some local authority areas, the majority of those living there are foreigners. For example, in the London borough of Brent, 56% of the population were born abroad. By the way, viewers had best make the most of this information because, as I reported yesterday, the Office for National Statistics has announced it will not in the future be issuing any figures relating to this subject. I don't really blame them. As I say, the statistics today relate only to people who were actually born abroad. This tells us nothing at all about the numbers of people of Pakistani, Caribbean or African heritage who have been born in this country to immigrants. We cannot work out from today's information what the percentage of black people in this country amounts to, nor to how many people of Asian descent actually live in Britain these days. This data is regarded as horribly sensitive, and there will be attempts to avoid releasing it for as long as humanly possible, probably until after the next election. I don't suppose for a moment that today's figures will come as any kind of surprise to people living in Britain. We have all noticed that there are more and more foreigners wherever we go, and that the chances of going an entire day without hearing another language being spoken are increasingly slender. There's no sign either that this state of affairs is beginning to stabilise, that the number of foreigners entering our country and staying here for good is declining. If anything, the process seems to be accelerating. It's no longer just large cities which are seeing this transformation. It's evident now even in small rural towns. There has never been anything quite like it in the country's history. You will sometimes hear smart alecks say that we have experienced such increased numbers of foreigners entering the country before, and they will then cite, say, the Norman conquest. That, of course, is sheer nonsense. There were around 1.5 or 2 million people living in England at the time of the Norman invasion, and the total number of Normans who came and settled here was around 8,000. This means that even after all the Normans had arrived in the country, they still only made up less than 0.5% of the population. This is nothing at all like the 16% of the population who now comprise entirely of foreigners. What is happening to this country is unprecedented, and don't let anybody tell you any different.